my June wrap-up and July TBR. This month I read 7 books, and let's just not waste any time and just get into this. You guys know, me and my friend Sarah have a book club called Ignited Reads, and the book of the month for this month was the entire Lux series by Jennifer L. Armentrout. I only read the first 2 books, and I got the volume edition, so really for me, reading this was like reading 1 book. Really though, it was 2 books, so we're counting this as 2 books. But yes, I read Obsidian and Onyx by Jennifer L. Armentrout, and holy smokes! So this book is about a girl named Katie. She's a book blogger, which is amazing because I was just able to relate to her so much. I feel like a lot of you guys too, even if you don't review books, even if you just read books in general, you'll be able to relate to her really well. And she moves into this town in the middle of nowhere, and she ends up moving next to a pretty hot guy, i.e. an Abercrombie & Fitch model alien. He ends up, you know, being an alien, and stuff goes down. I gave this book, or the first book and the second book, Obsidian and Onyx, a 10 out of 10. It was fantastic. I really recommend you read it. You are interested in reading something that will just make you blush and drop your book and scream and squeal and just do all sorts of different fangirling things, you're gonna love this book. Just read it. The dialogue's amazing. Like, the conversations between Damon, arrogant, wonderful Damon, and Katie are just wonderful, so just read the book. Next book that I read this month was one that I wish I had read so much sooner. You guys, you wonderful people, and a bunch of other booktubers have been recommending me this book since I started booktube, and it is Paper Towns by John Green. Whoa, like, whoa. This book was deep, you guys. I went into this book thinking it was just gonna be another book about like a high school senior, like, kind of group of kids, you know, wanting to do one last hurrah before the end of high school, you know, but whoa, this was way more deep than that, you guys. Like, maybe it was just me who took a lot from it, but it was really eye-opening. This book is about a boy named Quentin Jacobson, and he has 2 best friends, Radar and Ben, and they're really quirky and a little bit weird sometimes. Their jokes were like borderline offensive sometimes. Quentin has this neighbor, the girl next door named Margot, and he's just been in love with her since they kind of had this one incident together as children. And then one night, after not ever speaking to him through senior year, all of a sudden Margot just crawls through his window and asks him to be a part of her revenge plot for the evening. Then the next day, Margot goes missing. She leaves clues to come and find her. So this story is kind of an adventure. Some of the narrations and the quotes in this book were just so touching and just were like, wow. Like, there are parts in this book where I just had to like put the book down and just kind of stare at the wall. That was wow. I gave this book a 10 out of 10 because it was wonderful. The next book I read this month, oh my gosh, we need to talk about this like right now. Angel Fall! Angel Fall! The Fallen of the Angels, Angel of the Fallen. This book, holy smokes. Okay, so this book, as you guys know, has been like on my radar. Like, I've been wanting this book for so long, like so long. I love fantasy, I love dark books, you know, kind of a little bit morbid, kind of twisted. I know, I'm weird, I might be a sociopath. This book is dark, okay? Now, I mean, compared to, say, some other series, Game of Thrones, it isn't that dark, but, you know, it does deal with, like, cannibalism and just kind of that area of darkness. This girl, her name is Penryn. She has a disabled little sister who's 7, and she can't feel her legs, or she can't use her legs because of an accident. And she has, like, a schizophrenic, crazy mother who is so stinking scary. I'm not even gonna go into it because I don't want to spoil you. It is officially, I think, like a month or 2 months after this angel apocalypse has happened, which is really cool because a lot of books, they take place like, you know, several months after an apocalypse, but this book takes place like literally weeks after an apocalypse just happened. These archangels and just other angels came down to Earth, and you'd think angels would be all nice and stuff, you know, like they're supposed to be, but no, these angels just wreak havoc on Earth and just kill humans, and Earth has basically been turned into this like gang-ridden place, and it is dangerous, and this book is just, it is dark, but it is so good. Penryn ends up meeting a fallen angel, or not a fallen angel, I guess. Well, I guess he is considered a fallen angel. Ends up meeting this angel named Raphi, and he just recently had an accident. We'll just call it an accident. And she has to help him, and in return, he will help her get her sister back because she ends up getting kidnapped by angels. The story follows their sort of like trek through the city to get her sister, and it is just so wonderful. And I also read the second book, which I can't really tell you much about because, you know, you didn't read the first book, but it is so good. It is like the perfect follow-up to this book. This book was completely action-packed. And then the second book here is kind of a lot of world building, which is why I think it's called World After. I don't know, I feel like The World After is a perfect title for this book. But yeah, these two books were great. I gave this series a 10 out of 10. All of these books were like 10 out of 10s. It was a good month for reading. The next book I read this month was Me, Earl, and the Dying Girl by Jessie Andrews. Before you like get mad and click out of this video, I know this book is really hyped. I feel like a lot of people are just kind of just sick of hearing about this book because they've just heard about it so much and they're just like, it's probably not even that good. People are just probably saying it's good. Don't worry, I completely understand how you feel. I felt the same way going into this book. You know, I was like, I don't know how it's gonna be. I don't want it to like be disappointing or anything like that. So I really, before going into this book, tried to separate myself from the hype and just pretend it was just, you know, another book I found in a bookstore. Doing that, I didn't kind of really super like this book. I mean, okay, this book was okay. I think I gave it like 3 stars out of 5 on Goodreads. Out of 10 stars, I think I would give this maybe a 6, like maybe a 6, like 5.5 out of 6. As you guys, I'm sure you guys already know, this book is about a boy named Greg Gaines. He has this sort of best friend slash co-worker named Earl, and they just kind of like remake films together. They make like parodies of movies, and it's really funny. One day, you know, Greg finds out that this neighbor, or this girl who goes to his school, you know, she gets leukemia. His mom forces him to go and sort of hang out with this girl to try to make her feel better, and she ends up discovering through Earl that they make films, and she ends up really liking the films, and yeah, that kind of just basically describes the story. This story is supposed to be written from the point of view of Greg, as if he's writing it after this whole event has happened. It's supposed to be written like he doesn't know how to write, so there's a lot of bullet points, there's a lot of script dialogue, there's a lot of just, it's written really weird. It doesn't really follow the sort of grammar, well not grammar, but like structural formatting rules of a contemporary novel. And that's kind of why I didn't really like it so much, because especially during like the parts that were written in like script dialogue, I couldn't really like get attached to the characters much when it was like written like that, and I just, it was okay, it was okay. Humor-wise and comedy-wise, there were parts that I just died out laughing. And this is where I kind of get conflicted, because though some parts are really funny, there's other parts that I just felt like were not necessary, didn't need to be in. Look, I wasn't sad or happy or anything when I finished it. There really were no feels. It was kind of just like a little, like, it was kind of like a knock-knock joke. That's the best thing I can compare it to, is a knock-knock joke. Like a knock-knock joke's funny for a few minutes, but then you kind of just forget about it. And I feel like that's what this book is. Oh my god, that sounds so horrible, but yeah. Lastly this month, I read Made You Up by Francesca Zappia. Let's all take a moment here and just look at this cover. Gorgeous, beautiful. Like, I just want to like just display this on my shelf. It's so gorgeous. Oh my gosh. Okay, so I actually got to meet the author. Where I live, I will announce it a little later on. We're kind of planning an event with the author, and we're working with her. Me and my friend Mary Claire, and also the wonderful people working at Barnes & Noble, author signing for this book. And yeah, so I read this book and then I got to meet the author, and wow, she is, okay, the author is so wonderful. She's really young, she's still in college, and she is just, she's so fun to talk to and just fangirl with in general. I just enjoyed her book so much. This book is about a girl named Alex who is schizophrenic, and her entire life she has just kind of dealt with trying to decipher reality from, you know, hallucinations and things that aren't real. Also just dealt with people not believing her, and anyway, so it is her senior year and she just moved schools. She kind of wanted to start fresh and not be that crazy girl who sees things. Things get kind of complicated in this school when she meets someone from her past. She doesn't know whether or not he is real. Book I gave a 9 out of 10 because it was just one of the most wonderful contemporary books I've ever read, because especially when there's like an unreliable narrator, it just makes everything so much more interesting because you as the reader kind of has to like decipher things and figure out what's going on. Okay, now moving on to my TBR for July. Oh my gosh, okay, let's talk about this. Okay, so first of all, before I even go into the other books I'm gonna read, I'm first going to announce that my July book of the month for me and Sarah, aka Mickey Between the Pages, Ignited Reads Book Club is going to be Love Story by Jennifer Eckel. It is about a girl named Erin Blackwell. Now, she has just moved to New York to go to college and major in creative writing. Now, she comes from a racehorse farm in Kentucky, and as you can imagine, this farm has kind of just been in her family for generations. Everyone in her family has been a farmer, and that's kind of what she's expected to go to college to do and to learn more about is, you know, racehorses. Her grandmother in particular had promised to pay her tuition for college and even give her her inheritance of, you know, the money that was made through the farm. Instead, because she chose creative writing, the grandmother is now giving the inheritance and the tuition money to Hunter, who was the stable boy at their farm. As you can imagine, this makes Erin very mad, and she just can't stop thinking about Hunter. He stole her money and her inheritance. Like, who wouldn't not think about that? One day in her creative writing class, she decides, or accidentally, starts writing about him in one of her stories and just kind of continues to do this throughout her creative writing assignments. One day, she is reading one of the stories she wrote about Hunter. Of course, I don't think she used his name. But then, while she's reading it, guess who walks into the classroom? Yep. It's Hunter. He walks into the classroom and he's joining her class, and oh my god, like, can you talk about embarrassing? He finds out that she has been writing these horrible stories to like kind of get back at him, and for Hunter to get back at Erin, he starts writing some stories, and it's just about her, and it just kind of goes back and forth, I think, and oh my gosh, I'm just so excited to read this. Now, if you want to join into the read along, you can just hop on Goodreads. I'll leave a link below to where you can join our group if you haven't already. If not, you can always follow me and Sarah. We'll be posting a book discussion up on this so you can talk about it on Goodreads, and also I will be posting a discussion video on this book. It is so short that I'm sure the discussion video will be up soon. The next book that I plan on reading this month, oh my god, I have so many books I want to read, but let's just pick the main ones. The next book I want to read is actually several books. Opal, Origin, and Opposition, the last 3 books in the Lux series. Oh, I am not ready for this to be over. Like, I'm not ready for this to be over, you guys. I want to read these last 3 books. I don't know what emotional state I'll be in afterwards, but I want to read these. I also want to finish the 3rd book in the Alice in Zombieland series, Queen of Zombie Hearts. Oh my god. Okay, well, my friend Sarah just told me that this book is not the last book, but there's going to be one more book, surprisingly. So, oh, I'm so excited for that too. But yes, I'm looking forward to this. There really isn't much I can say about Alice in Zombieland except for, unless you've read the 1st book, you won't really get the 3rd book, obviously. But it is a really great series, and I can't wait to finish the 3rd book. I want to finish reading The 5th Wave. I started this book back in like 2013, I think. I only got 2 chapters in before I just got really too busy and couldn't finish it. But yes, the movie's coming out. Yes, Chloe Grace Moretz is going to be in it. And yes, I need to read this book in July. Last 2, I promise. I may or may not get through all of these books. Probably not, but I mean, I read 7 books this month, so I feel like I can get through these 7 books too. Fangirl by Rainbow Rowell. Yes, I got the collector's edition because red is just so beautiful with blue. This book, I bought it, you guys. Are you happy now? People have been recommending this to me, and I just feel horrible for not reading it, so I got it, and I'm gonna see what this hype is about, guys. I'm probably gonna post a whole video on it, so we'll see if this lives up to the hyped expectations. I promise this is the last but not least. I want to read An Abundance of Catherines by John Green because I have just been on a John Green rampage. I've read almost all of his books. This is the last book of his that I have to read. I'm gonna guess there's gonna be some quirky characters in here because he always throws in quirky characters. Thank you for watching. I will catch you guys in my next video. Let me know what you're reading this month, or not this month because it's still June, but in July, let me know what you're gonna read. Until next time, keep reading, and bye!